Live from the Two Virginias news leader. WVVA News at Noon starts now.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you for choosing us on this May 5th. I am Joshua Bolden. Let's go ahead and get to your headlines of the day. New at noon and just into our newsroom, multiple agencies are on scene of a 4,000-gallon diesel spill on I-64 in Greenbrier County, and you are asked to avoid this area on your screen if possible. According to Greenbrier County Sheriff Bart Baker, a tractor trailer hauling containers of diesel fuel crashed at mile marker 174 with about 18 containers breaking loose and sliding into the median, spilling about 4,000 gallons of diesel, some of which flowed through storm drains and reached Howard's Creek. Baker goes on to tell WVVA crews are working diligently to contain this spill and to prevent it from reaching the Greenbrier River. The Lewisburg Fire Department, White Sulphur Springs Volunteer Fire Department, Fairleigh EMS, West Virginia Department of Highways, West Virginia Department of Transportation, Greenbrier County Department of Homeland Security, and Evergreen were all dispatched to the scene. We have a crew en route to this as well. We will continue to follow this for you, so please tune in tonight at 5, 6, and our late evening newscasts. Also into our newsroom at noon. A Fayette County man behind bars after being arrested on a drug charge Saturday. Sheriff Jess McMullen telling WVVA Seth Elliott Bragg on your screen was charged with felony possession with intent to deliver fentanyl after a traffic stop. McMullen goes on to tell WVVA it was in the early morning hours when a Fayette County deputy conducted a traffic stop on Route 19 near Scarborough for a minor traffic violation. The 44-year-old was the driver and gave consent for search of his vehicle. During that search, deputies located items consistent with narcotics use and distribution, along with a quantity of suspected fentanyl weighing over 5 grams. Bragg remains incarcerated at SRJ on a $50,000 cash surety bond. Well, also new today, school has yet to let out for the summer, but changes will be coming for those who live and attend school in Tazewell County, Virginia. Tazewell County Public Schools announcing it will be instituting a clear bag policy in August of 2026. The following coming directly from TCPS. The purpose is to enhance campus safety and improve the efficiency of school security procedures. Tazewell County Public Schools requires students to use clear backpacks when bringing personal items into school buildings. In regard to scope, this policy applies to all TCPS students in grades pre-K through 12th grade attending school or school-sponsored events where backpacks are permitted. It is effective during regular school hours, and at any other time students are entering school buildings with bags or backpacks. All student backpacks must be clear and transparent. The main compartment and any additional pockets must be see-through to allow for visual inspection of contents. We do have more about this under the Education tab on our website, WVVA.com. Well, everybody, we told you about this yesterday. Specialist Sarah Beckstrom being honored at the Pentagon. Well, 2 additional officers from the West Virginia National Guard were honored at the Pentagon for their heroism as well. Major Ryan Reynolds receiving the Soldier's Medal and Major Edwin Stanfield receiving the Airman's Medal. These honors are the nation's highest medals for heroism outside of combat. Both men were credited with saving civilian lives and the lives of servicemen during an attack in Washington, D.C. last year.
These guardsmen, then and today, made our capital safe. So on a tranquil day, the day before Thanksgiving, there stood these 2 Americans, 4, but these 2 here, guarding our nation. After service in the Middle East, Afghanistan, and on the border with Mexico, their dedication to and love for this country brought them here to this city, our nation's capital, to protect American citizens. It was a criminal, alien terrorist bent on murder and destruction that had journeyed to our capital. He raised a stolen gun against our National Guardsmen. A brave soldier and a brave airman, both born in Maryland but forged, as was mentioned, I think there's a lot of West Virginia in there. Forged in West Virginia, they pushed forward.
and assist responding law enforcement personnel.
And as we mentioned, this was part of the same ceremony where Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and her family were recognized. On November 26, 2025, Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf were shot while serving with the West Virginia National Guard in D.C. Beckstrom died from her injuries, Wolf continuing his journey to recovery. And in case you missed that portion, take a listen.
But first, I look out and we see Eva Lee. We are with you today. We are praying for you. We are praying for your daughter, Sarah, what she gave for this nation. She is not forgotten. She is not forgotten today. She's not forgotten any day. And it is her memory that stiffens our resolve each and every day. So thank you for being here. Thank you for, from that night to today, the courage you've shown, the strength you've shown, and the support you've shown throughout the force, which means an incredible amount.
We should also note attending that ceremony was Governor of the Mountain State, Patrick Morrisey. Well, now we're going to turn to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Less than 2 weeks ago, Virginia voters approved a plan to change the state's congressional maps in favor of Democrats. Well, the Virginia Board of Elections said they will not certify the results, and Henry Graff is following all that. Henry?
Certification officially delayed. The results from last month's redistricting referendum not moving forward for now after a meeting of the State Board of Elections on Friday afternoon.
The State Board of Elections is currently under an injunction that prohibits certification of the results of the election.
The main holdup, the Supreme Court upholding a Tazewell judge ruling that the referendum to redraw congressional lines favoring Democrats in a 10-to-1 map is unconstitutional and blocking the vote certification.
We're living in unique times, and whatever happens, your 133 localities with their general registrars and their staffs have had to be prepared and able to do whether it goes yay or nay.
All sides of the issue eager to hear from the state Supreme Court.
Once we get a final order from the court, we will act accordingly with that.
State Senator Ryan McDougal leading the charge in one of the Supreme Court cases, thankful the board did not move forward.
Well, I'm glad to see the State Board of Elections followed the court order, which have permanently enjoined them from certifying the elections.
Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan filing for re-election to Virginia's 4th Congressional District just prior to the meeting.
I do wish the court had ruled by now, but I know they've got a lot of questions of first impression, and they're going to take their time and make sure they understand that this has broader implications beyond just this election.
The State Board of Elections can come back at any point to actually go through with the certification of the election results, but we should point out those on the no camp saying they will take this fight all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Political reporter Henry Graff reporting there. Thank you as always. In the meantime, bringing things a little closer to home, everybody listen up. A free online small business summit is taking place this week for current and future entrepreneurs. The U.S. Small Business Administration is hosting this 2-day webinar as part of National Small Business Week. It is open to anyone and takes place virtually today and Wednesday. It's going on now from 6 p.m. today and then 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. These free workshops provide information about federal resources, networking, and mentorship opportunities. Michaela Shelton with our sister station, WVVA-7, caught up with Jim Spencer, who, of course, was formerly of Bluefield Economic Development Authority before he moved on to the SBA. Here's part of their conversation.
So we want to have classes that are free to help people understand that. Becoming bankable and winning contracts. Small business, how can they win contracts to do work? And the SBA's website and click Virginia. The Virginia office will have that information. But some of the classes are making AI work for you. And one of the things that we're doing is, AI is.
And that was Jim Spencer speaking with WVVA-7's Michaela Shelton there. We're going to have all this information on our website, WVVA.com, as well. But now that you're caught up on all of those headlines, we need to catch you up in the weather department. There's only one man who can do that for you. His name is meteorologist Jeffrey Houle. And Jeffrey, I see we have one of the weather cameras up. What are we looking at this afternoon?
Well, we're still looking at a little bit of cloud cover. We are going to continue to see some off and on hints of sunshine, but starting now through the rest of today, we are going to be seeing more and more clouds building in. Now, the temperatures have been nice and warm pretty much all morning long, and that trend will continue later on today, with highs eventually reaching into the 70s. Looking at Berks Garden, Virginia, beautiful weather outside. We're still, of course, cloudy, like I mentioned, but it is an improvement over the rain that we saw the past couple of days. And this is really the only dry period we're going to be seeing this week outside of Friday. Temperatures, as we're stepping out the door, in the 60s across much of the region, but a few of us already in the 70s. We've got 71 in Pembroke, 72 in Welch, and then 73 over in Pineville. Here in Bluefield, 66 with 67 over towards Raynell and Beckley. Satellite radar, pretty nice, but you can see those clouds have really been building in over the last hour or so, and they're going to continue to do so throughout the rest of today. Temperatures eventually in the mid to upper 70s. Some of those lower elevation spots that are already in the 70s could end up in the low 80s if we get enough heating. That cloud cover might impede that just a little bit. Winds coming out of the southwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Some stronger gusts possible for the higher elevations, pretty similar to how we've been the past few days. Now tonight, an approaching cold front will bring us some widespread rain, meaning it's going to be pretty soggy, especially as we're waking up and stepping out the door tomorrow morning. Temperatures bottom out in the mid-50s. That's what we're going to be starting with. But take a look at that chance for rain. It's going to be off and on as we head throughout the day with a little bit more rain during the evening, but most of it will be arriving for the morning commute. I'll break down more of that in your full forecast, but for now, I'll send things back over to you.
Jeffrey, as always, thank you so much. Well, everybody, if this is your first newscast of the day, let's do what we do every single day and catch you up to speed. You may recall last week an NNS train derailed right where Giles County and Mercer County meet. And within 24 hours after this incident, the railroad was up and running again. WVVA's Zaria Stovall brings you more.
There is no I in team, and that was especially true for cleanup crews following last Tuesday's Norfolk Southern train derailment. And their first steps were to survey what was originally classified as a hazardous scene.
We obviously don't want to send responders into an area if we've got extremely hazardous chemicals that are leaking.
But with the help of the Ask Rail app, officials were able to identify the contents of each car in around 40 minutes.
You know, we knew there were some hazardous materials being carried on that train, but the tanks that were actually leaking were not hazardous. It was soybean oil.
And once the substance was identified as non-hazardous, Norfolk Southern cleanup crews began working, and once they started, they did not stop.
And they worked all night, and the next morning I was really amazed that they had, made so much progress as they did. Ultimately, by 4 or 5 o'clock that following day, they had the track open.
That 24-hour turnaround may not seem impressive, but that railroad is a vital artery to our area, transporting items daily.
That's a main line. There's a lot more than coal that goes up and down those lines, a lot of freight, consumer goods, and so it's extremely important for the railroad to get that stuff open in a timely manner.
And this incident could be called lucky, as 13 of the 128 cars that did derail did not carry hazardous material.
There was a lot of tank cars in this train that were carrying ethanol, and that's extremely flammable.
WVVA is told that 14,000 gallons of soybean oil did leak out, but did not make its way into the East River. And despite the soybean oil, officials report no harm to the surrounding ecosystem. I
was back down there the following day. There was no sheen in the water. I mean, the creek was fine. They done a really good job.
As a precaution, booms were placed in the water and are staying put for the time being. Here for you in Princeton, Zaria Stovall, WBBA News.
Zaria, as always, we appreciate your thorough reporting. Well, everybody, you know the sound, you know the deal, you know the drill, okay? May 5th, 1961 is where we take you today. At 9:34 a.m., Alan Shepard Jr. blasting off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, in his Freedom 7 capsule atop the Mercury Redstone 3 rocket, reaching an altitude of 116.5 miles. Shepard becomes the very first U.S. astronaut to achieve space flight. After only 15 minutes and 28 seconds, Shepard safely splashed down roughly 300 miles out in the Atlantic Ocean from the launch pad. Shepard naming the capsule Freedom 7 in honor of the 7 Mercury astronauts. You can see the Freedom 7 capsule on display at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum over in D.C. And he is, and this is your This Day in History fact for May 5th. But You hear that sound? We got all the sounds today. We want to let you know about a brand new contest happening here at WVVA and throughout Gray Media. As part of our We the People celebration, WVVA is inviting you at home to take part in our Star Spangled Sing-Off. One lucky participant will win an all-expenses paid trip to Nashville to film a performance to air nationwide on all Gray television affiliates. And starting in June, you can vote for your favorite entry. To read the official rules, you can head to WVVA.com, click on the contest tab, and find everything there. We also make it easy for you. On the left side of your screen, there's a QR code. You can scan that as well and get all the details. But that's not all. We've got another contest for you. WVVA has teamed up with our friends at Mr. Sparky once again for the second annual Ugly Breaker Box Contest. Now is the time to enter. If you have your cell phone next to you, grab it, go take a photo of that breaker box and submit a photo of your ugly breaker box to WVVA.com. Again, under the contest tab, the photo with the most votes will win an electrical panel upgrade provided by Mr. Sparky of Southern West Virginia. The winner will be announced in the 6 p.m. newscast on Friday, May 29th. And now we'll send it to our friends at Aging Untold.
On the next Aging Untold, not having enough water can add up to big problems.
You may feel confused, you may have dizziness, low blood pressure, which is why people start falling.
We'll explain why seniors are at greater risk of dehydration and what you can do to help them and yourselves stay vital.